Our thoughts and our prayers are with the Clark's family. Let's now head to what played out at the Lagos State House of Assembly that has been embroiled in a crisis recently with the removal of Mudashiru Obasa and his replacement by Mojisola Miranda taking a new turn on Monday with the invasion of the House by security operatives from the police and the Department of State Services. The action of the security operatives initially kept the Speaker and other members locked out of the Assembly complex in what the lawmakers described as an attempt to stop them from sitting.
The first day of the legislative week begins with an unusual atmosphere, with a heavy security presence by men of the Nigeria Police on all access roads leading to the Lagos State House of Assembly complex. Observers say this may not be unconnected to the leadership crisis rocking the Assembly, which led to the emergence of Right Honourable Mojisola Miranda after the impeachment of the former Speaker, Honourable Mudashiru Obasa. Perhaps in an attempt to stop the current Speaker from carrying out her duties, officers from the Department of State Services gain access into the Assembly complex and try to stop lawmakers from carrying out their constitutional responsibilities, which created tension. Eventually, members gained entry into the Assembly complex and settled down to the day's business, but not before expressing their displeasure over the incident.
I'm calling on the director of DSS that they should please let us know what really happened that is men taking over the House of Assembly.
We have 26 members sitting here today that they have found their way by struggle from into this house. But as Speaker, I want to move a motion as part of what Honorable Kenny has said, that whatever happened today should be reported in history and answered.
I want to join my colleagues in calling on the DSS to address the invasion of this parliament.
There's on this note I want to ask that members, please, if you can affirm your vote of confidence in Madam Speaker, kindly raise up your hands, please. Now, please stand.
The Department of State Services says its officers stormed the Lagos State House of Assembly on the invitation of the acting clerk of the House.
And we started this conversation yesterday on the program. Whilst we were trying to, whilst on the program, this was actually happening. And so now get some level of picture as to what is playing out. But let's also tell you that while the back and forth has been going on, the Assembly seemed to have provided some clarity as to some letters have now surfaced online, that was written by the Lagos State House of Assembly inviting the Department of State Services to fortify the security of its premises. So there was an argument as to how did the DSS get involved. So this is part of the response. The letter dated February the 14th, signed by the acting clerk of the House, Abubakar Taiwo Babatunde Otun, and addressed to the director of the DSS in Lagos, stated that the Assembly management invited the DSS and other security agencies because of a potential security threat to members, perhaps seeking to dispel the insinuation that the DSS may have been acting on behalf of the presidency to reinstate recently removed Speaker Obasa from what played out a few weeks ago. The House has, however, faulted the release of the letter, describing it as an attempt by the DSS to justify its action. In a statement by the chairman of the House Committee on Information Strategy and Security, Olukoyede Ogundikpe, says that at no point did the letter requesting security assistance instruct the DSS, one, to invade the legislative chamber. They said they didn't ask that. Lock and restrict access to the Speaker's office, lock the office of the acting clerk, or lock the office of the deputy speaker. So that is actually the clarity that was required. So there has been that back and forth between how the DSS got involved. The DSS said they were invited. Now the House is saying, yes, you were invited, but we didn't send you to do this. Whatever you did was an overreach. We're being joined on the program by Mr. Jide Ojo. I have two conversations, one in Ondo and the other one, sorry, Oshun, and then one in Lagos. Mr. Jide Ojo is a political analyst. Mr. Ojo, welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure, Geoffrey.
We're back again on this table. Is there an end in sight, or this is just the beginning of the many drama we're going to see playing out in the Lagos State House of Assembly?
I wish I could say that this is the end, but don't forget that Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa has already gone to court to enforce his fundamental rights and seeking the relief of the court for expeditious hearing, that he was wrongfully impeached and all of that. And when I read that over the weekend, I thought he has decided to toe the line of constitutionalism by approaching the court for possible redress. But I'm surprised at the turn of events yesterday, which clearly shows that there are some external forces trying to interfere in the legislative arm of Lagos State. Of course, even the removal of Obasa was externally influenced. We cannot pretend that the Governance Advisory Council does not know about it, because even when Right Honorable Speaker Mojisola Meranda, after she was inaugurated, the first place she went was to meet with the GAC to get their blessing. Which indirectly shows that they actually remotely influenced her coming to office. But there is still a lingering issue. And Geoffrey, I think this issue is even of greater frightening dimension, which is about indigenship and settler. I could see a brewing crisis between those who perceived others as settlers in Lagos and those who believe they are indigents of Lagos. For instance, there are claims that Right Honorable Speaker Mudashiru Obasa is not from Lagos State, and actually is from Ogun State, and that Right Honorable Speaker, the current one, Mojisola Meranda, is an indigent of Lagos State. And when things take that kind of narrative, you need to be very careful, because Lagos has been a model for many other, in fact, for all the other states in the country, where whether you are indigent or settler, you can aspire and get to the highest office in the land. Recall that Ralph Oregbesola, who later became the governor of Osun State, was for 8 years commissioner for works in Lagos State. And there are insinuations that many of the governors, if not all the former and current governor of Lagos State, are not indigent of Lagos. So that narrative is already generating furore online, that the group Lagos for Lagos is pushing that Meranda being an indigent cannot be pushed aside. Because as at yesterday, and I recall that watching Seun Okinbaloye's PoliticsToday yesterday evening, he did confirm that there were already drafted letter to Honorable Mojisola Meranda for her to resign her office. And you ask yourself, on what basis will she resign? Has she committed any crime that will warrant her resignation? Or is it that some powerful forces wanted to reinstate Mudashiru Obasa? There's also the angle, Geoffrey, there's also the angle of the attempt by the GAC to right the wrong that may have been done to the people of Lagos West. The presumption is that the successor to Mudashiru Obasa should have come from Lagos West, rather than coming from the same senatorial district as that of the governor, and that it has upset the political arrangements in terms of power sharing in Lagos State. So when you give all of these permutations and all these dynamics, you know that you cannot in good conscience say that this crisis is over.
So where do we go from here? Because at the end of the day, Lagos is a model state, to be very fair, and a center of excellence. We're seeing all of this play out. In fact, if you look critically to what is playing out, I looked at all the players that have been mentioned in passing or actively. The president has been mentioned, but all of the issue around DSS seem to perhaps exonerate him or put him there in the mix. Somebody said, people are saying that there's no way anything happens in Lagos without the president, because he's the leader of the party at the national and, of course, at the state level. There's the governor on one side, there's the Obasa himself and the members of the House on the other hand. Then there's the non-state actors like the GAC, who are very powerful in this sense, are also in the mix of all of this. And we're seeing some of the children of the members of the GAC standing against perhaps their fathers on this particular one. But in your view, what is the end game here? Is it that they want to right the wrong of, let me use that word carefully, right the wrong can be interpreted differently. Removing Obasa, are they trying to bring him back and then make him resign honorably? Or what exactly do you think is playing out? I know it's a difficult question.
No, Geoffrey, let me attempt to answer that. That's why I said there are different dynamics that is playing out. There are those who believe that Obasa is Otilo, that is gone and cannot be brought back. But maybe the court can bring him back if he pleads, because as he has approached the court. But there are those who feel that the president, quote unquote, was displeased in the way and manner in which Obasa was removed, and that he purportedly tagged it a coup. And that even if Obasa were to go, the replacement for Obasa should be from Lagos West. Because in the pecking order of the number 1 to 3, the governor is from a senatorial district, the deputy governor is from another senatorial district. Now you have the speaker coming from the same senatorial district as that of the governor. And they said this has upset the apple cart, and that there is no longer political balance. But what also is coming out very strong is the influence of the non-state actor called GAC. You ask yourself, where is the APC state executive? Why is their voice drowned in this whole issue? Why are they not speaking out? Who is the chairman of APC in Lagos? Why are we not hearing from him? Why are we not hearing from the secretary of APC in Lagos? Why is it the GAC talking, and then the assembly, and then the attempt to forcefully force the Miranda to resign? What was the motive to that? Even when you talk about power sharing agreement, it is not constitutional, it's just for political convenience. And you know that that's why we are calling that in the alteration of the constitution that is currently going on, maybe we can have a formalized power sharing agreement that will recognize the 3 senatorial districts. But right now it's done by the rule of the tongue. Yes, there is a provision for political and social inclusion as enshrined in section 14 subsection 3, which talks about federal character principle. But that in itself cannot be strictly interpreted to mean that this has to be told, because now the Nigerian women are displeased by the attempt to force Miranda to resign. Aside from the indigenship angle, they are saying that Miranda is the first female speaker Lagos has ever produced. Why do you want to shortchange us?
All right, Mr. Ojo, of course, that's another leg of the conversation that a lot of people are now also looking at. The first time a woman is speaker, and she was quite emotional yesterday. That's solidarity by her colleagues to support her. But in just 1 minute, if you can answer this. What happened yesterday? What does it say about the independence of the legislature going forward in Lagos? Because for whatever reason, they are saying that the DSS went on an overreach. Whatever gave the DSS that impetus to block offices, I don't know whether they didn't get the brief correctly. We do not know. That's another kettle of fish altogether. But yesterday, we saw assembly members saying, on this mandate we stand, in the words that they use. What does that say about the independence of the legislature going forward in Lagos?
Indeed, Geoffrey, Lagos has been a role model when it comes to democratic credentials of Nigeria. But the issue that is coming out very strong is worrisome. Interference from the executive arm and from the non-state actor is the more worrisome thing for me, because I felt that if there is no smoke without fire, somebody may have countermanded or may have given a different briefing to the DSS to seal up the Speaker's office and that of the Deputy Speaker, including that of the acting clerk, who actually wrote to them. And the expected invasion from the Obasa end was supposed to be today, 18th of February. So why did all this blockade and invasion happen on Monday? So somebody, there's obviously an attempt by external forces to undermine the independence, autonomy, and the integrity of the Lagos State House of Assembly. And that should not be allowed to abide or to sustain. Because Lagos is the model that many other states are copying in terms of how to practice democracy.
Mr. Joe, it's an ongoing conversation, our eyes and our ears. As a matter of fact, the House has actually adjourned indefinitely. I'm sure they are trying to resolve this politically. But we must thank you for coming. Jide Ojo is a public and political affairs analyst. Thank you for coming on the program.
It's my pleasure. Do it.